I think they look good. They're at the top of the totem pole right now, so they're going to get everybody's best shot. That's just how it goes. So I'm not concerned about the results as much as I just like Mark Sears is playing within himself. He's not taking bad shots. He was 3 for 5 from 3 today. Big Cliff, Grant Nelson comes in and he's solid, 2 for 4 from 3. They're playing well together. They look like they're in midseason form. And I think they're only going to get better. And then they have a wealth of riches coming off the bench with right sale. It's Alabama is good. They're going to be there to end. It's championship or bust for them this year. And to start off, they're doing what they need to do. They're not winning by 30 points, but McNeese State is a pretty good mid-major team. You know, they lost their first game, which, you know, was kind of an upset. But for the most part, they've got some high-level D1 guys on their squad, man. So Alabama played them well. And I think it's good for them to get these type of games where you play high-level talent. It's not a cupcake walk like some of these schools kind of typically like to do to get some wins. And it'll bode well for them as the conference play starts.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think, you know, certainly McNeese is a valid team. They're a valiant team. They're a team that could, you know, get into the tournament, win a game. You know, who knows if they get a right draw, maybe win two. So I'm not discounting that. But CJ, when you look at Alabama 3 games in, I mean, there was so much hype going into this season, especially with the way the football team was struggling early. Now that they've righted the ship a little bit lately, but it was kind of all eyes on Nate Oates this season and Mark Sears. Close tonight. Arkansas State was also single digits. Do you have any hesitations, or do you agree with John that they've looked the part so far?
I've been a little bit underwhelmed. I mean, it was my preseason number 1 team, and I have a little bit of a buyer's remorse so far. I mean, it's still really, really early. I want to see what this team looks like when Chris Youngblood gets out there. Tonight, I felt like they were missing one more shooter. You know, you have guys that are – I think you've got guys that are rushing shots when they're semi-open really early, and I know they want to play fast and they want to get up a ton of threes. But watching that game tonight, I felt like there were guys taking shots that you don't maybe want to take such quick threes. A Darian Reed, Jaron Stevenson's yet to make a 3-pointer this year, and you know he had a nice finish to the season last year. But Aiden Holloway has been kind of disappointing. You know, he shot it decent the first 2 games, but 0 of 5 tonight. So I think they're missing one more shooter. I think once they're fully healthy, I think you'll see a lot of Reitzel, Youngblood, and Sears out there together. But I did think Sears played a really, really nice floor game. Man, if he gets any kind of space, if he's within 30 feet, it feels like it's going in every time. So he's off to a nice start. It was good to see Grant Nelson play better, but I am a little bit underwhelmed by just their offensive flow so far.
I've been there as well, and I mean, when I watch Alabama, and I've watched them pretty closely the last 3 games to kick off the season, I watch a lot of Alabama. I'm a grad student there right now, so I certainly keep up with what's going on. When you look at the Crimson Tide, they have a huge stretch coming up. So they just got past McNeese. We all agree McNeese is a quality team, but they're about to go on the road away from home, and they'll play teams like Purdue. Then they've got Illinois. Then they've got Houston, Rutgers, North Carolina. So I'd imagine, and we're going to find out everything we need to know about them over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, they are about to get tested for sure. Even Illinois is the one unranked team there, and I could argue that they're just as good as any of those other teams listed. If they come out and play the way that they played the last 2 games, you know, you're going to see them get humbled a bit. I think that you have guys who are still trying to find their role on this team. I think you have guys who can make shots, but are they making them at the right time? Like, is this your turn to make a shot? You know, Sears is a real good player. I like Grant a lot. You know him. I believe he started tonight, right? He started tonight.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He started.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So like him being able to play a legit 4 with Cliff as the big, I think that's something else that they're going to have to work on. And how much are they going to allow Grant to really handle the basketball as a big, because he's playing alongside a true big. They've got some kinks to work out, and and they're going to find that out here in the next 2-3 weeks or so.
So how good is McNeese? We saw them tonight, and they gave Alabama a decent game, and it was on the road, and certainly nothing to sneeze at, nothing to be embarrassed at with the way that Will Wade's team played. CJ, when you look at them, is that a tournament or bust team? Is that a team that could win a game? Are we overselling it? What is that McNeese State team we saw with Will Wade?
I mean, I think it's a team that's obviously probably going to win the Southland again. I don't know that they're quite as strong as they were last year. I was actually, they were at Houston. When I was at Houston, they had a secret scrimmage with Texas State that was a pretty close. Maybe peeked on that for a second. It's probably illegal. But they
won't tell nobody.
Yeah, we won't tell anybody.
It's after dark, man. You good?
Yeah. South Dakota State lost Zeke Mayo. I don't know if they're quite as strong as they were last year, and losing that game right off the bat. We'll see. It's Will Wade's gonna always have some dudes. Brandon Murray is a guy that's been at the high major level. Sincere Parker played really well tonight. He scored a bunch on a bad St. Louis team. So they've got some dudes. He coaches them up really, really well. So I thought they had a smart game plan tonight, like making some guys take shots that maybe Alabama didn't want to take quick shots. So we'll see. But that's a team that I think Alabama should have beat by at least 20 if they're on.
Agree, and they still won, so give them credit.
Yeah.
It's early in the season, and there's certainly a long way to go for them to get lathered up, John.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been the issue with Alabama throughout this last couple of years, right? Like, they kind of play close, then, they'll get down, they'll come back. They just have that firepower. But when you play a high-paced game with a lot of threes, you lend yourself to kind of team getting back in the game, which they did. So I'm a little higher than you guys on them. Because they're just kind of starting, like I said, man, they're the top of the totem pole, so they're going to get everybody's best shot. We'll see, in a couple weeks what they look like, but they're winning games, and with the parity in college basketball, man, it's a tough thing to do on a nightly basis, man, stay focused like that.
I guess my question for all three of you guys, as we talk about Alabama beating McNeese State, that was kind of the game of the night, the game that we were the most excited to watch. So, kind of a light Monday, but still an interesting game nonetheless. My question is the Alabama culture. This is a team that went to the Final Four a year ago. I mean, John, you played for a program that's a powerhouse, that has that expectation, that when you go there, there's a certain expectation when you put on the Carolina uniform. Bama, I think, is trying to be that. Do you buy into they have all of the pieces and parts, or are they fragile? What do you think of that?
I mean, talent-wise, from top to bottom, they're one of the more talented teams in the country, along with Kansas, in my opinion. So, Duke, obviously. So they have all the pieces. What I'm looking at now is just how their top, like how Sears was just a steady force, didn't force anything. He played within himself. When that fire turns up in the kitchen, he's going to be the guy that is a stable force for them. So I like how they look, man. They have a lot of expectations, and that's just part of the game. And being Nate Oates, and they've actually got a guy on the bench, Pannone. He's from Tampa, so one of my closer friends. So I'm always kind of in tune with their program, man. They're feeling good about themselves right now.